Good morning all of you. In the last class we have learned what is line coding, what is the necessity of line coding, how an information from n number of sources can be transmitted to n number of receiving units through a technique called wavelength division multiplexing technique. Okay, what are the types of wavelength division multiplexing techniques? So we have studied all these concepts in the last lecture. Today we go to another new concept, that is attenuation measurement. Okay, so attenuation measurement in an optical fiber. So we already know, we studied in the previous lectures that attenuation in an optical fiber is due to some reasons. What are those? It is due to absorption, it is due to scattering, it is due to some defects, crystal defects in the waveguide. So due to these reasons, generally attenuation may occur in the optical fiber, with which there may exist power loss at the receiving end. So how to measure the attenuation in the optical fibers? Okay, actually there are two methods to determine or to measure the attenuation in the optical fiber. Okay, that is, first one is cutback technique, second one is insertion loss method. Okay, there are two methods to determine the attenuation by the fiber, and the third one is actually an instrument. It is optical time domain reflectometer. With this instrument also we can determine or we can measure the attenuation in the optical fiber. Okay, so what are the various techniques? One is using cutback technique, one is using insertion loss method, another one is using an instrument called optical time domain reflectometer. In short, it is called as OTDR, optical time domain reflectometer. So first we look into cutback technique, that is how the attenuation is measured using cutback technique. So you can see here there is a simple block diagram, consists of optical stripper, optical source, mode stripper, optical fiber and photo detector. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to measure the attenuation inside the optical fiber. Okay, so for example, this is the optical fiber. Okay, already it is written. Test fiber means on which we have to measure the attenuation. So what we do is we cut the optical fiber, okay, near the optical detector or photo detector, okay, and we try to measure the power. The first step is, what is the first step? We cut the optical fiber near the photo detector. We call it as far end, far away from the source. We call it as far end, and we try to measure the optical power. Say this is the optical power measured at the far end. Say it is PF. After that, what we do is we cut the optical fiber. We cut the optical fiber near the source. We call it as near end. We call it as near end, and we try to measure the optical power coming from the optical source. We call that power as PN, power measured at near end. Okay, I repeat, there are two steps here. In the first step, what we do, we cut the optical fiber at the far end. Okay, here, that is near the optical detector. Okay, and we try to measure the optical power coming from the optical source, and we call that power as, say, PF. In the second step, what we are doing, we are cutting the optical fiber near the optical source. Near the optical source, we call this as near end. Okay, and find the optical power coming from the optical source and name it as, say, PN. Okay, so in two steps, what we have done, we have to calculate the power at far end, power at near end. After that, what we have to do? We have to calculate the loss. Okay, average loss in decibels per kilometer is given as alpha equal to 10 by L log Pn by Pf. 10 by L log Pn by Pf. What is Pn? What is meant by Pn? Power calculated near end. What is Pf? Power calculated far end. What is meant by L? L is the distance between. L is the distance between. See here. L is the distance between near end and far end, or length of the fiber between the near end and far end points. Okay. So like this, you can find the attenuation. Like this, you can calculate the attenuation using a technique called as cutback technique. Okay. But this cutback technique, okay, is a destructive method. Okay, this cutback technique is a destructive method. Means we are cutting the optical fiber cable and we are calculating. We are finding the power at the 2 points, near end and far end. So here the cable is destructed. Okay. So this method is called as destructive method. Okay. Fine. But there is a limitation for this method. There is a limitation for this method. What is that limitation? Okay. So for example, if there is a connector, okay, between the two ends, that is near end and far end, then this calculating the attenuation using this cutback technique may give wrong result. The measurement may be wrong. Why? What is the reason? Because whenever you are using a connector to connect the optical fiber, okay, there may exist connector losses. Okay. So that connector losses cannot be included here in this while measuring the attenuation using this cutback technique. That is the reason an optical fiber without any connector or without any splicer, okay, if you want to measure the attenuation, then cutback technique is suitable for this. If there is a connector, means cutback technique is not suitable. Clear? Right. So as I said, for the optical fibers with connectors, we cannot use the cutback technique. Okay. So, but there is another method called as insertion loss method. That is the second method, but its accuracy is less compared to the cutback method. Okay. But when there is a connector between the when a connector is placed along the length of the fiber, okay, one or more connectors are placed, then insertion loss may be used to determine the attenuation. Okay. So it is a non-destructive method. Means we don't cut down the fiber. Okay, we don't destroy the fiber here to measure the fiber attenuation. Okay. But actually, without doing that, okay, we can measure the attenuation, okay, in two ways in insertion loss method. What is that? Okay. First of all, what we do is, for example, this is an optical source. Okay. This is an optical detector. Okay. In the step 1, what we do is, we connect the source and detector using a connector. We don't lay an optical cable here between the source and detector. Instead, we use a connector, small connector, very small length connector between to connect the source and detector. And we try to measure the power at the detector or the receiver and name it as, say, power measured. It is, say, P1. This is the step 1. In the step 2, what we do is, we lay a connector, you can see here. Sorry. In the step 2, what we do is, we lay an optical fiber cable between the light source, optical source and the photodetector. Okay, that is the fiber cable under test. Okay, in the second step, what we have to do? We have to connect the optical source and the optical detector using the fiber cable. Okay, this fiber cable may consist of connectors or may not consist of connectors. Okay, whatever it may be. Okay, now measure the power at the receiver or the photodetector. Name it as P2. Name it as P2. Okay. Now you know P1. How you have calculated? By placing a small length connector between the source and detector, you have calculated the P1 at the receiving end, power at the receiving end. In the next step, what you have done? In the next step, you placed a optical fiber cable. You have connected the source and the photodetector using a full length optical fiber cable, and you measured the power at the receiving end, and you are calling it as P2. Now the attenuation. A equal to 10 log P1 by P2 gives the fiber attenuation. Attenuation is calculated using this formula. Attenuation A equal to 10 log P1 by P2. What is P1? Power calculated by placing the connector between source and detector. What is P2? Power calculated at the receiving end when fiber is placed between the source and detector. Are you able to understand this? So one point is, here there might be connectors. Okay, in the second step, when you laid a cable, okay, there might be connectors or not, whatever it may be, the optical power received, okay, is including the losses at the connectors. Okay. The third step is the third method to calculate the this one, attenuation or whatever it may be, the power received. Okay, is OTDR. OTDR is an instrument actually. OTDR full form is optical time domain reflectometer. Optical time domain reflectometer. Okay. It has other names. It can be called as fiber optic tester. Fiber optic tester. It is also called as optical radar. It is also called as optical radar. Okay. So what is the use of this OTDR? It is used to, it provides the information regarding the local losses as well as reflective elements. Okay. It is also used to find the faults in an optical fiber. It is also used to find the faults in an optical fiber. It is also used to measure the Rayleigh scattering loss as well as Fresnel reflection. Okay, it is mainly used to find the Fresnel reflection as well as Rayleigh scattering losses. But actually, if you see what is Rayleigh scattering loss, okay, Rayleigh scattering loss means the power loss due to fiber core material variations, or in another words, discontinuities of the refractive index. Discontinuities in the refractive index. Okay, so generally leads to losses. Generally leads to optical losses. Okay, that is called as Rayleigh scattering loss. What is Fresnel reflection? In the fiber optic cable, if there are some breaks, okay, if the optical cable is broken, or if there are some air gaps inside the optical fiber cable, or if there are some connectors, due to this air gap or due to this breaking or due to the placement of connectors at different points, okay, some part of the power which is traveling inside the optical fiber may get reflected back. Okay, due to this reflected power, there might be a decrease or reduction in the received power level. This is called as Fresnel reflection. This reflection due to broken fiber or air gaps in the fiber or reflection due to the connectors is called as Fresnel reflection. Generally, Fresnel reflection is considered as a critical reason, okay, critical reason for the attenuation, okay, because Fresnel reflection is 10,000 times greater than the Rayleigh scattering in terms of reflected power. That is the reason OTDR is mainly used for determining the amount of reflected power inside the optical fiber. Let us see what is OTDR. See the block diagram of the OTDR. OTDR consists of pulsed laser. Means it continuously sends the pulses, laser pulses. Okay. It consists of a direction coupler. This is the direction coupler. It consists of this instrument consists of avalanche photodiode, amplifier, okay, a display unit, data handling unit, okay, a timer. Okay, this is the entire instrument actually. What we have to do? Actually, what we have done in the cutback technique or insertion loss method, what we have done, we have connected the fiber, we have cut down the fiber at the near end and far end, measured the powers, we have taken one formula, substituted those power levels in the formula. Okay, or if it is insertion loss method, we have connected the optical source and the optical detector using the connector. Okay, next calculated the power at the receiver. Next we have inserted one optical fiber cable. Again we measured using the formula. We measured the power, and using the formula we have calculated the attenuation. Everything is going manually actually. Okay, but it is an instrument. OTDR is an instrument. So instrument will do that measurement, the reflected power calculation on itself. Then what we have to do? Okay, our job is very simple. Okay, bring the optical fiber cable, okay, whose attenuation is to be measured, and connect it to the one port of the fiber. Okay, and switch on this instrument. What it will do? The instrument will be transmitting the laser pulses continuously into the fiber. Okay, what happens due to some air gaps? If there are some air gaps, or if there are some breakings at different points, okay, or if there are some connectors, okay, there might be some reflections. Means the power maybe some part of the power may get reflected back into the same fiber backside. So the same reflected fiber will be collected through another port, the direction coupler, and is given to the avalanche photodiode. What is photodiode? If photodiode converts the amount of reflected power, okay, into the amount of reflected light into the voltage. Okay, that voltage is displayed on the displaying unit. So with this displaying unit, you can measure, you can observe the amount of reflected power. Okay, and you can easily know, okay, how much amount of power is getting reflected, okay, and with which whether the fiber is able to establish between the two, that is optical source and optical detector or not. You can come to that conclusion. Okay, so this is the working of OTDR, optical time domain reflectometer. Okay, next one is to measure the data handling capability, okay, to measure the performance, to measure the distortion levels, okay, at the receiving end of the optical fiber, optical link, we use another method called as eye pattern or eye diagram method. Okay, so it is a simple but powerful measurement method. What is eye diagram method or eye pattern method? It is a simple and powerful measurement method for assessing the data handling capability of a digital transmission system. The eye pattern measurements are done in time domain. Okay. Also allow the effect of waveform distortion to be immediately shown on the oscilloscope. Okay. you can see here what we are doing. We are transmitting the bits. We are transmitting the ones and zeros in some line coding format. For example, say NRZ, non-return to zero coding format. Okay. So to the optical receiver. Okay. At the optical receiver, what happens? We have connected oscilloscope. On the oscilloscope, we try to watch the eye diagram. Okay. We try to watch the eye diagram. So how? So for example, what I have done, we are transmitting the non-return to zero code input data stream in terms of in the format of NRZ. Okay, line coding technique. Okay, right. On the oscilloscope, what we do is we try to overlap the bits received from the transmitter end. Okay, we try to watch the overlapped figure of the number of bits coming from this one transmitter. So for example, say this is logic 1. Okay, say this is logic 0. Okay, so this is logic 1, this is logic 0. Logic 0. If you observe, it is looking like a square. It is looking like a square. But actually, practically, at the receiver, there may exist a distortion. Okay. For example, I can see here. I can show you. There may exist a distortion in the bits. Like this. Okay. Actually we need to get like this when the ones and zeros are overlapped. If you observe on the oscilloscope, the figure looks like this actually. 1 and 0 when they are overlapped. But due to distortion, okay, we may it may look like this. Due to distortion, it may look like this. For example, see this diagram. Okay, like this. So if you observe, it is looking like an eye. If you observe, it is looking like an eye. Okay, like this. It is looking, how it is looking? It is looking like a eye. Okay, using this shape which is displaying on the CRO, we try to analyze some characteristics, okay, of the link, optical link. So this diagram is called as eye diagram or eye pattern. Okay, for example, see here. Here a simplified eye pattern is represented here, is shown here. Okay, you can observe various parameters are shown. Various parameters of the optical link are shown, okay, on the diagram. Okay, so this diagram is representing various parameters like sampling rate, noise margin, okay, and etc. So many parameters related to the optical link. Okay, so this is the simplified eye pattern diagram. Actually, eye pattern diagram looks like this or like this. Okay, but we made it simple like this. Okay, you can see here the eye opening area, that is this area, is the best sampling time. That duration is the best sampling time. Okay, this duration is called as distortion at sampling time, the most possible occurrence of the distortion. Next, this duration is the noise margin, and this duration is the distortion at zero crossings. Distortion at zero crossings, like this. This is distortion at zero crossings. Okay. Next, this period is called time interval over which signal can be sampled. Okay. As well as vertically, this eye opening area is the best sampling time. Next one is, here this is maximum signal voltage. This represents maximum, this point, maximum signal voltage. Okay, and this line or this time period represents slope, gives sensitivity to the timing errors. Okay, and the center one is the threshold, and the center one is the threshold. Okay, so like this we will be able to look into various parameters. Okay, when the output signal is displayed over the CRO, that is like all the ones and zeros are overlapped. Okay, and it is looking like an eye diagram or eye pattern. Using that eye pattern, so you will be able to distinguish so many parameters of the link. Okay, so what we have discussed today, we have discussed how to measure the attenuation. Attenuation, first thing is, attenuation is caused due to absorption or scattering or waveguide defects. Okay, attenuation can be measured using cutback technique or insertion loss method, or using a time domain reflectometer instrument, OTDR. If it is cutback technique, we are cutting at near end and calculating we are cutting the fiber at the far end, calculating the optical power, measuring the optical power, and second time we are calculating we are cutting the optical fiber near the source, called near end, and finding the optical power, measuring the optical power, and using the formula we are able to find the attenuation. This is called cutback technique. If it is if there are connectors, means it is not possible to implement the cutback technique. We go for insertion loss method. What is insertion loss? We take a small connector. Place the connector between source and detector. Means connect the source and detector using a small fiber connector. Okay, short length fiber connector. Measure the power received at the detector, say P1. Next, in the step 2, what you are doing? You are laying a full length optical fiber cable between the source and the detector. Okay, it may consist of optical connectors also. Okay, now find the received power at the receiver or optical detector, say P2. Okay, so attenuation can be calculated using the relation 10 log P1 by P2. Okay, in case of insertion loss method. If it is time domain reflectometer, that instrument is also called as optical tester as well as optical radar. It is mainly used to measure the Fresnel's reflection or the amount of optical power reflected back to the fiber. Okay, so this instrument consists of pulsed laser, okay, avalanche photodiode, amplifier, display, data handling, timer, etc., as well as direction coupler. What you have to do? You have to insert the one end of the optical fiber to the one port of the direction coupler and switch on the instrument. What the instrument will do? Instrument will continuously sending the laser pulses into the fiber. If there are any air gas or if there are any breakages or if there are some connectors, okay, along the fiber, then some part of the optical light may be reflected back to the same fiber. That reflected power is sent to the avalanche photodiode through another port, and it is converting that light, the reflected light, into the voltage and displayed over the display. This display is able to, with this display you are able to see how much amount of reflected power is present in the fiber. The next one is eye pattern. Eye pattern is used to assess the data handling capability of the digital transmission system. Okay, eye pattern measurements are done in time domain. What is eye pattern? Okay, so you may be sending the codes in NRZ form or RZ form. For example, NRZ form. Okay, the ones and zeros received at the receiver are overlapped. Okay, are made to overlap and observed on the CRO. When they are observed on the CRO, the shape of the received bits look like eye opening. Okay, so that is the reason this kind of analysis is called as eye pattern or eye diagram measurement. So what you can come to know? You can come to know the distortion at sampling time, noise margin, distortion at zero crossing. Okay, what is the best sampling time? Okay, what is the maximum signal voltage, slope? Okay, for timing errors, what is the threshold, etc. You can measure all these factors using the eye diagram or eye pattern. Okay, this is the end of the 6th unit. Okay, so in the next class, so all the 6 units are completed. So we will try to solve some problems in the next session. Okay, thank you very much.